Hi friends, hope you're whelmed. My name's Jess, and today we're going to be talking about cozy games that will help you stop overthinking. Whether you're obsessing over a problem you can't control, or your mind is spinning in circles and you can't get it to stop, trust me, we've all been there. Sometimes it's difficult to stop yourself from spiraling, and then you end up doom scrolling on social media for hours, which isn't helpful. I personally find that cozy games really help when I start to overthink and can't stop, so I hope this list will help you too. I've made a list of cozy games for anxiety, and I'll put it here, but all the games I talk about in this video will be different. I hope they help you, and I'd love to hear about the games you play when you're ready to take a mental break. There's no actual order to any of this. I'm just going to be talking about the games I've been loving a lot recently. And if you're brand new to cozy gaming, warmest of welcomes. I hope you find something you'll love. So I wanted to start this video with the game I've been really loving recently, even though it's not shiny and new, because oh my gosh, it helped me with overthinking in a major way. Listen to this. Basically, I'm disabled, so I need a little extra help with everyday activities like cooking. Well, last week, one of my services screwed up royally, and it threw off the rest of my week. Long story short, I wasn't sure what I was going to eat for an entire weekend, and I was looking at stretching my budget to its breaking point just for takeout, and I was spiraling and trying to calm myself down because of human error that had nothing to do with me, and I thought about booting up Fields of Mystria, but I actually restarted my save in preparation for the big update that's now live, so that's exciting, but it wasn't at the time, and anyway, I have Sunhaven in my library too, and I'd played it a little at that point, but not a lot. So I booted it up, and it was so helpful. Like, I was having the worst day, and it just helped me to feel better. If you're brand new to the game itself, Sunhaven is described as a fantasy farming sim with an RPG twist, and it's a pretty decent option if you want everything a farming sim entails, with a little bit of extra magic sprinkled on top. Basically, you make a character. I went with the human option because they have the bonus of faster crafting time. You customize it to your heart's content, and live out your life in a pixelated world with dragons, krakens, and Peter, who unfortunately isn't dateable, but a girl can dream. I think what really makes Sunhaven for me, other than the music, which instantly calmed me down and helped me get into adventure mode, is the wealth of customization options. For example, I have invincibility turned on because I'm not great at combat, and because I wanted to relax completely and grow some crops without hassle, I also turned off seasonal pests. You can see on my screen that I have this particular file set to the longest day length available at 40 minutes, but if you want a quicker session, you can just slide it over for a shorter day. Probably the coolest fact about Sunhaven that I'll share with you today is that its Switch port is finally being released on November 29th. All's well that ends well, because by the time I was finished my second day in Sunhaven, a solution to my problem had been found, and I was relieved because instead of spending that time spiraling and stressed, I was just calm and focused on something else. 10 out of 10, I definitely recommend. Okay, but if farming sims aren't your jam, can I interest you in a point-and-click visual novel? Ace Attorney is really special to me, because it was one of the first cozy games I tried when I was gifted a gaming laptop last year. My experience with cozy games was limited to the Sims franchise, Sims 3 being my favorite, and Dreamlight Valley. I wanted to play everything without really knowing which games would suit my playstyle. A friend recommended Ace Attorney and told me to start with the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Try it, he said. It'll be fun, he said. He was absolutely right. In case you're just getting into cozy gaming, the Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright trilogy is a remastered compilation of all three bonkers visual novels that see you following Greenhorn defense attorney Phoenix Wright as he battles it out in the courtroom dealing with bizarre cases and quirky clients that will be jailed without your help. You'll be digging deep into the client stories, interviewing witnesses, gathering evidence, and presenting it to the court to champion your client's innocence. I wanted to give you an example of one of the cases here, but realized it would be a pretty big spoiler. But if you like games that take a turn for the silly while still managing to be somewhat serious, you'll have a great time. Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright is the perfect game to get completely absorbed in, because it does require attention to detail, and you'll spend a lot of time going from one location to the next, sometimes multiple times, to make your case. You can lose, so even though I'm pretty sure the game autosaves before you enter the courtroom, just be aware that you need to bring your A game, and you may want to dedicate another save slot as a backup. Don't forget, you can also save whenever you want to. For my part, I haven't finished the trilogy yet, because the Ace Attorney remasters are kind of pricey, and while I'd say the game is on the longer side, it's one that you'll want to keep playing once you start. I know I would have finished the original trilogy and immediately wanted the next, so I'm waiting for the next winter sale to snap up the next entry in the series, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. I'm on episode 5, Rise from the Ashes, so I still have a decent way to go, and this is the perfect weather to get cozy and try some fictional cases. Just a quick note, if you're looking for a less expensive experience or you don't have access to Steam or a Switch, the games are available on iOS, and some of them, like Ace Attorney Investigations, are currently available for less than $5 with ads. I'm not sure if it's a one-time deal, but check it out and see. As of recording this video, this is the Canadian price on the App Store. Ranch of Rivershine is my latest cozy obsession, the game that's gobbled up all my free time. If I'm not playing this game, I'm wanting to, because everything about it is completely perfect. From the music, to the graphics, to the easy, set-your-own-pace style of play that allows you to adjust day length and difficulty. You can either play on normal mode or story. I've been enjoying story mode in my newest file. I'm at the beginning of summer and absolutely delighted to find it has a different seasonal tune than spring. Along with the individual music in each biome, I keep finding little things about this game that have made it one of my favorites of the year in less than 2 weeks. Ranch of Rivershine revolves around horse ranching. I think it's fair to say that even the player character is just scaffolding for the horses, and Rivershine is so thoroughly entertaining that it gets away with it because really, who needs to eat when you can go trail riding instead? Seriously though, it's clear that Rivershine is a passion project for its solo dev, and all that heart comes through in the game. She's listened to feedback and is constantly implementing new features to keep the game fresh and exciting. Rivershine is so utterly engrossing that it's really easy to sit down thinking you will just play a day or two, and then suddenly you've played a week with your day on the longest setting, you're $2,000 away from upgrading your wild horse pen, and it's time to collect a bunch of manure so you can fertilize your crops with it. Despite the NPCs sharing one common interest, that is your horse and what they can do for the town once you train them, they're really lovely and they somehow add to the calm, relaxed vibe of the game. Maybe it's because they only send you one letter about quests, and it doesn't matter if you get them done that day or a week from then, they're still happy you're there. They help the town and the various biomes feel alive, all the while staying in the background so you can focus on patiently building up your ranch. And you will need to be patient because there are no shortcuts in the game. You'll be training, caring for, breeding, and selling horses on repeat. Entering competitions is a great early game way to earn money for necessary ranch upgrades, as is selling any forageables you find while you're out in town or on the trails. The beauty of this game is that there's no right way to play, and there's no finish line. Rivershine is one of those games that you can just play endlessly, however you want, for as long as you want. That makes it a win in my book. Tiny Glade is the teeny diorama building game that swept up the cozy gaming crowd with absolutely no apologies. With intuitive building tools and an incredibly supportive community, in Tiny Glade, if you can imagine it, you can build it. I mean this literally, of course. You can likely build whatever you set your mind to, but as you can see from my screen, I'm not an architectural designer. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I play this game to relax, and it exceeds expectations. One day I'll move beyond building up tiny houses for tiny creatures on tiny hills, maybe even get creative with the paints and roofs and make castles with massive towers. But today, I like my tiny houses. Today, I'm glad this game exists so I can add to the wonderful pre-built options and de-stress. Last up, I've played every version of Good Pizza, Great Pizza that's currently on the market right now, and hands down, my favorite way to play is on the Switch. It's the game I use to relax and wind down at the end of the day because it's just a simple game with a simple premise. Make pizza, serve pizza. The game has overarching goals and unlockable achievements, like for example, in the first arc of the game, you're in direct competition with Alicante's, the pizzeria across the street. You'll be unlocking toppings and decor, and once you get to the 9-day mark, you'll be on the game's version of Instagram, where you can actually connect with friends. I actually dislike this feature in the Steam game and don't use it at all, so I left my avatar as a default. There's not too many ways to describe Good Pizza, Great Pizza. other than to say its simplicity masks an engaging, relaxing game that will absorb your focus for as long as you need. So, those are the cozy games that really have helped with overthinking, especially recently. But I'm wondering, what games do you use to stop yourself from spiraling? Let me know down in the comments. They'll go straight to my wish list. If you made it this far, thanks so much. Let me know what you think of all these games, and I hope you're about to find a new favorite.